okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Marcus, otherwise known as Looney or Lunatic. I'm currently incarcerated in Sad F State Prison, Corcoran. I've been locked up going on 18 years, 8 months for 6 robberies I committed in 2003. Basically, I grew up with a beautiful family, a good, loving mother, loving father. They raised me to do good. They put me in schools. You know, I was a C average student. And when I was 12 years old, like growing up, I always kind of wanted to be a cop. So I bought a BB gun from Walmart, and I got so enthusiastic about it that I ended up chasing around one of the neighborhood kids, and I ended up shooting him in the back of the leg. Well, that was my first charge. So with a deadly weapon. Make a long story short, I ended up going in and out of juvenile hall 7 or 8 times, different group homes, placements, you know, things of that caliber. I ended up in the youth authority for a second-degree robbery. I robbed a pizza delivery driver, and while I was in the youth authority, I got, you know, basically put up on game, had a fight. I thought I knew how to fight when I went in, but it turns out I didn't. When I got into my first fight there with this black dude from the Bay, he showed me I didn't have hands, so eventually I ended up going to lockdown for a few more fights. I was set up with a Fresno Bulldog named Laffy Boy, and he taught me how to fight. He gave me a lot of confidence in that region. So when I got out, about 2 years, 10 months later, I just, you know, I was kind of off the hook. I picked up a lot of bad habits, youth authority, and I thought I was the shit. I thought I was invincible. And one day my sister was driving me to go check in on my parole agent, and there's a paisano driving by in a truck, and he almost sideswipes my sister's car when she's pulling out of the parking lot. So I was a little upset at it. She was as well. She honked the horn. He flipped her off, called her a bitch. So I got upset because my little niece is in the back seat too. So anyway, she ends up pulling into a Juan Pollo, and we pulled and we stopped about 10 feet from there. And I jumped out of the car. He jumped out of the truck, and he was trying to head into the restaurant, but I confronted him, and we had words. We ended up getting into a fight. I ended up getting my parole violated. So at that time, when you violate your parole, you go back for 6 months to a year. And I hadn't even been out a month yet, so I'm over here beating myself up and catastrophizing the situation in my head, like, man, what the fuck? I just got out. You know, my mom was happy to have me home. She made my room beautiful, put pictures on the wall. Like, she was just happy to have her baby home, you know, even though I was 19 years old. In your mom's eyes, you're always going to be her little boy. And she was just ecstatic to have me home. And I was disappointed in myself. And I just felt like, you know what? Everything's over with. And I began going into a downward thinking spiral. Ended up going on the run, smoking dope, staying at one of my ladies' houses. After a while, I started getting strung out on speed. And I committed my first robbery in order to support my habit and to help my lady pay her bills. So I committed my first robbery, and realizing how easy it was to make $300 or $400 within 30 seconds, it just became an addiction. So after that, I just started, you know, committing robbery after robbery. I ended up getting locked up in 2003 on August 8th. The impact team ended up getting the location on my whereabouts. It was me, one of my homeboys, and we were staying at the house, and we left the city we were doing, well, I was doing the robberies in order to escape jurisdiction. But they went out there, they got jurisdiction authorized by San Bernardino impact team, and ended up raiding the house. I got arrested, and I sat in the county for about close to 3 years. And when I was in the county, I chose to run with the Mexicans, and over there are Southerners because we're down south. And even though I didn't gangbang, the Mexican side is the more familiar side that I'm comfortable with, being that I was raised by my mom, who's Mexican. She's from Guadalajara. And I ended up getting caught up in the politics. I was riding with the Southerners. I ended up getting in riots, and I just, like, developed a lot of relationships with the people that did gangbang there. So I ended up developing, like, a good relationship with them. So when I eventually went to prison, Calipatria, which was my first prison, I chose to run with the Southerners again, but as a resident. And, like, not even my second week there, they tried to put me on a mission. And even though I'm a new booty, I'm not stupid, so I utilize common sense. And I told, man, look, I haven't even got my first package yet, and you guys are already trying to get me to do your dirty work. You got me fucked up. And they didn't like how I responded to them. They're like, all right, well, don't even trip. We got something for you. Well, I ended up making a lot of enemies, like not even my first month in prison. So I ended up getting into it with my cellie. I got into my first fight there. They let that slide. I got into another situation with another Southsider. They let that slide, but they did discipline me. They gave me 113 burpees. They gave me 113 burpees and basically a slap on the wrist. But I didn't really take them seriously. I was going against the grain, feeling like I don't got to do anything you guys tell me to do. I'm not your puppy. I don't gangbang. Like, I'm all man, so I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless, consequences or not. And I ended up just continuing to do me. Eventually, I ended up going to pre-block. And I had words with this dude, Stanley. Well, we were cool, but over there in CASHAPP, it's super hot. Like, it gets up to 120 degrees, and it's mandatory yard. We're out there all day, so I'm exhausted. And we ended up coming back from the chow hall one day, and Stanley, he's trying to be the center of attention. He's making jokes, and everybody's laughing at his jokes but me. And he looks at me like, man, what's up? You're in a bad mood? I told him, no, I'm tired, man. We've been on the yard for 3 hours straight in blistering heat. Like, I didn't get to take a nap like you did. Like, it's one up, one down. I gave myself that opportunity. And he just, like threw his hand at me like he was dismissing what I was saying. So I told him, well, what's up with that? And we ended up having words right there. Long story short, I call him a bitch just to get him to react because it's usually a mandatory word. And he didn't respond. He just, like, put his hand on my face like I'm all talk. So I told him to come into my cell. He didn't get him. And his cell is real political at the time, so he intervened and told him, nah, I can't allow you guys to do that. So anyways, I kept trying to pursue the issue, and he ended up letting the guy that had the building and the yard know, since they live next door to each other, like what the situation was. Well, old boy came up to me, Real from Ontario and Pony from Evergreen. They were the two. Real was running the building, and Pony from Evergreen, he was running the yard in CASHAPP in 2005, 2006. So they came up to me and they told me, hey, what's the issue with you and Stanley? I told him, nah, we don't have an issue. He's like, nah, look, two people came up to me and they verified that you're disrespecting them in front of other people. So we just want to let you know, just like quell whatever's going on, neutralize it, and just we'll move forward from it. So I gave him my word that I'd do that, and I did it. The next day I pursued it again. He caught wind of it. He told me, hey, look, I already gave you a fair warning. You disrespected me, you went behind my back, and you gave me your word you weren't going to pursue it, and you still did, so you know what you got coming. I said, well, what do you mean I know what I got coming? He's like, well, you know what you got coming? I was like, all right, well, look, if I'm going to get stabbed, be a man and let me know to my face I'm going to get stabbed. That way I know what's coming. He's like, you're not going to get stabbed. We're not going to try to get you out the yard, but you are going to get DP'd. So 3 days later, they ended up popping me out early in the morning. They had a little a collaboration with the SEALs in the building at the time, right? So the SEALs popped me out. I went to B lower. They popped out a dude named Latigo from Norwalk, and they popped out Nesho from Watts. Nesho from Watts was the volunteer, and Latigo, I guess, he owed a mission. So they sent those two in there on the shower, and basically they 2-on-1 me, and I said a little prayer. I was nervous before I went in because you never know what's going to happen, man. There's something called a one-punch homicide, and you get hit in the right spot, that's a wrap. Like your lights out, you're dead. So I'm thinking of the worst possible scenarios before I go in there, and I said a little prayer, like, man, God, if you could take this away, take it away. But if not, I'm gonna be a man and I'll deal with my situation. Well, he allowed it to happen. I went into the shower and just I literally fought for my life, and I ended up getting the better of both of them. I ended up getting my ears split open, but somehow that day, like miraculously, I ended up getting the best of both of them. The dude that had the building, he was right there watching it, and Tony from Evergreen, he has the yard, so he's upstairs, but he caught wind of what happened. So a little later, when they popped me out from my shower, I went after. I told him, hey, look, I apologize for creating havoc in your building and on your yard. Like, it wasn't intentional. It just, oh boy, came at me foul, and I felt like I responded in a necessary manner. And from there, he's like, man, look, you don't need to apologize. You went in there, you handled your business. Man, I'm impressed with you. I heard about you. I heard you got hands, this and that. So he started praising me, and I wasn't looking for that praise. I felt stupid, because I just got jumped for acting like a little-ass kid. And I felt stupid. I felt the need to apologize to him. I let my pride down. But the next morning, Pony and Real called me over to the Polar Bars because we all go to the same school together. And they say, hey, look, you want to make some money? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to make some money. So look, you see old boy right there standing by the dip bars with the glasses? I'm like, yeah, look, he's going to give you a package. Just hold on to it, put it in your shoe. That way when they search you on the way to school, like, you don't get hit. But basically, I was their mule, like for a period of time. Like a lot of people would look at it as I was working for him, but anybody with common sense knows that like you're their mule, and I knew that at the time. But for the money that I was making, like the income that I was getting in that moment, like I was content with it, so I didn't mind being a mule because like it had a price tag with it. So I went to school with them. Like I started carrying their dope just in case squad would run in, like they did various times. You know, being that they were on the radar, they'd run in, they'll get them up against the wall, they'll take them out, they'll strip them out or whatever. So basically, they had me holding all their shit, selling all their dope from this and that. So that's how I got caught up in the politics. And a lot of people were hating on me, like people that actively did gangbang because they felt like they've been gangbanging their whole lives, and then here comes this resident and just takes what they've been trying to work for like their whole time of like being incarcerated. So I developed a lot of haters. Well, long story short, Tony from Evergreen, he ended up getting validated along with like 6 or 7 other people. They put him out in handcuffs, took him to the shoe or took him to the hole. From the hole, they went to the shoe. Tony ended up going to the Corcoran shoe. From Corcoran shoe, I think he went to Pelican Bay. But I ended up staying back with Real, and yeah, man, I ended up staying back with Real, and there's another segment that goes along with that.